yesterday was Valentine's Day, and today, the 15th, there has been yet another shooting at a school in the States. And this time of year always makes me think of, first and foremost, the debate between whether or not Valentine's Day is a worthy kind of thing to celebrate. And of course, with yet another tragedy, it puts kind of in perspective making sure that you don't take for granted the things that exist in your life, especially your loved ones. Now for me, I am kind of indifferent to Valentine's Day. I'm very much of the opinion that if you love someone, you should be showing them on a regular basis, not dedicating a day to it. But of course, a celebration of that love in addition to what you show for that person throughout the rest of the year is nice and fine and worth celebrating. That is the chair and not my farting. But I think too often do we not publicly declare enough our love for our friends. And not just friends, but people in our lives that we have had relationships with, whatever the nature be, that have contributed in huge ways to the person that we are and to our perspective of the world. And I don't know. I guess for me, I just really wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the people in my life from very young until now who have impacted, that aren't family members, that are just people that I've learned quite a lot from, whether or not they know it, and people that I genuinely cherish to this day, even if they're no longer in my life in a big way like they might have been at one time. I mean, there was Eleni. Eleni was one of my first close friends, and she really taught me the importance of working hard, but also being able to bend the rules within those constraints that were provided. And Cameron, we were children when we knew each other, but there's one particular scene in my mind that will never leave it. There was an interaction between the two of us where I really learned the importance of clarity and attention, the things that you allow to get to you and what maybe really doesn't matter. Ashley is one of the sweetest people that I've ever met in my life, and unconditionally kind to the point where you think that she has been given nothing but gold throughout her entire life. And when you find out the opposite is true, it becomes even more amazing and inspiring to recognize when kindness comes to play. Jury just brought a whole new perspective of art and music to me. There are some artists that I still listen to this day that were brought to my attention way back when music to me was just what I heard in the dance studio and what I learned on the piano. Myrna, of course, for many reasons, but knowledge. She wasn't afraid to be the smart one. She wasn't afraid to point things out when she knew that it was incorrect, or when maybe someone was being ignorant with their words. She was not afraid to use her knowledge as a tool, and still isn't, and she is making huge strides. Grace for her dedication. She's constantly rechanging who she is and what she wants, but she will go all out for that. And for me, going all out is a difficult thing. I back off too quickly, whereas she does the opposite. And that's been incredibly valuable. Fatima for her perseverance. She's the kind of person who would sometimes not be able to go to social gatherings because she would be focusing on this goal that she knew she wanted. And sure enough, now she's found and achieved that goal. And it goes to show that yes, things take a long time, but when you put the hours in, you will achieve those things. Myrna, Grace, and Fatima, I think, were the three people that helped me feel the most comfortable in my creativity. And they supported me beyond anything else that I think I'd experienced in terms of my own creativity. And they pushed it forward. They contributed, and it changed me as a person. And they are still there. Jocelyn and her individuality and what she taught me about those things, about being an individual person, about not being afraid to be who you are, and making the hard decisions, sticking to your guns, being the person that you need to be happy, and recognizing when something is maybe not the best for you. And Owen for reasons beyond this, but for the strength and vulnerability, and for his generosity and the importance of what those things mean to people and to relationships, and to being human, why those things are important. I've always admired the ways that he's been able to wield those things, like a knife and like a pen or a tool, I don't know. There are many people that I left off this list for whatever reason, but the people that I've mentioned have had significant impacts on me. I think about them on a regular basis, hoping that they're well, and even if I don't reach out to them, I am constantly wondering what they're doing and whether they think of me in such a way too. And I'm lucky that these people still exist. I think thinking about shootings and thinking about the impacts that tragedy have on our lives, it's really scary to think about what would happen if something happened to one of these people. And I think one of the weirdest things about this is that a lot of these people I don't talk to on a regular basis. In fact, most of them I don't, and yet I consider them to be very close to my heart. And I'm lucky that I haven't lost any of them. Even if they're no longer in my life in an active way, they're still around, and I can recognize them for what they've given me as humans and as friends and as important relationships in my life. They're more than friends to me. And I love them all dearly, and I hope they know that, I guess. And I'll tell them that after this, I will. But I think what's important for me to say is, don't let the people who have shaped you go by the wayside. Please tell them how important they are to you. Make that known to them somehow if you can. Because you never know when the last chance to speak to someone is going to be. You never know when something's going to happen. You never know when suddenly your relationship with that person changes or falters or just disappears, whether because of something or on accident. Our lives are too short to just not acknowledge the phenomenal people in our lives, because there are so many people on this earth whose merits go unchecked, unacknowledged, and that's so sad. There are some people in your life who might never truly know how much you meant to them or mean to them, even still. So celebrate the love for the people that are in your lives on a regular basis. And even if not on a regular basis, don't let them forget how much they meant to you, mean to you. Keep up with your family. Call your friends. Talk to your neighbors and make relationships. Forge them. Hang on to them. And if they must falter for whatever reason, it sucks. It's okay, it happens, but even if a relationship falters, I still think it's important to, if you still think of that person well, let them know that every now and then. Let them know that you're thinking about them, and to express that love, because you never know when someone will need it, and you never know when you might never get the chance to say that again.